Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the Tomb Kings, going to be taking a look at a battle submitted by Shetland Apache. This one, Tomb Kings versus Dark Elves, so anytime we're killing elves is a good time for me. So let's get to the army compositions here. He's got Cetra. Quickly before we get started, by the time a lot of you guys are watching this, the announcement will have already gone live for the new faction. I am very excited to see what we'll be getting. Of course, I'll have plenty of video coverage of it. From what Creative Assembly has said in the past, they said it's going to be on the level, if not exceeding, the Tomb Kings, which is sort of why I figured I should feature this replay. Also, it's just an awesome replay. But yeah, Tomb Kings were by far and away the best DLC to date, the most complete DLC with Regiments of Renown, 4 Legendary Lords, an awesome campaign, unique star positions, the whole shebang. So very much excited if we're going to be getting something on the level of the Tomb Kings, if not better. Speaking of Tomb Kings, for Shetland Apache's build here, he's got Cetra, of course, on the War Sphinx, Incantation of Cursed Blades, Incantation of Protection. Looking for a nice cheap kit. He's got a couple Tomb Guard with halberds up on this side, a couple more Tomb Guard, I believe. Nope, just one over there with the Kepper Guard. Another Tomb Guard with halberd in the center, front line with some spears, regular skeleton warriors, 2 skeleton chariots, and 4 skeleton horsemen archers, which is a pretty interesting pick against the Dark Elves. Tend not to bring a ton of cavalry in this matchup, so I do sort of like that pick. Speaking of the Dark Elves, the Filthy Knife Ears have the Supreme Sorceress up in the air. He's got a Fireball and Burning Head, Cold One Knights, and looks like some Dread Spears as well. The Cold One Knights are hidden in the woods. Very important to take note of that. We've got 5 Dark Shards with shields, so some very heavy fire coming in from the Tomb Kings, or sorry, against the Tomb Kings from the Dark Elves here, and a front line of 4 Sisters of Slaughter, so a very elite light front line. Granted, these guys do have a missile block chance, these gals rather, 20% missile block chance, which is not a lot, but it is something. And it looks like we've also got some more Cold One Knights hidden in the woods over on the far side with some more Dread Spears. So without further ado, let's get the battle underway. You can see right off the bat, these Skeleton Horseman Archers are going to be generating some excellent value here, shooting at these Sisters of Slaughter. Very lightly armored, expensive unit, and again, they do have that small missile block chance, but it's not a whole lot, so they definitely will take some damage from these missiles here. You can see already dropped the unit model, quite a bit of HP damage done, so very cost effective. A Fireball going off in the distance, blasting Cetra in the face, doing a little bit of damage, not a whole lot there, but pretty standard to see Fireball being used against Tomb Kings characters at the moment. You can see the chariots are going to come forward with a bit of a frontline strike here, get some really nice damage done. Oh man, brutal charge into those weakened Witch Elves there that have been taking some fire, and that unit pretty much already offline there. You can see more fire pouring in. The this arc of Dark Shards, though, immediately going to start pouring fire into the chariots. They come through and try and get a charge on these Dread Spears, which they are able to do. It's like a Burning Head going off in the front line, roasting out a whole bunch of skeletons, but the Cold One Knights responding very well here, catching out these skeleton chariots, and the skeleton chariots trying to get back to their own lines, which is getting absolutely crushed by the Cold One Knights, and the overwhelming fire from the Dark Shards there, getting a nice crossfire. So losing those chariots is going to be really, really rough. Definitely some high value, high impact potential units, but we'll see. There's a lot of Sisters of Slaughter still left in the front line, and they are taking some fire from the Skeleton Horseman Archers, so all's not lost yet. You can see the Fireball is going to be going after Cetra here. Narrowly missed there as Cetra dives into the Sisters of Slaughter here. He had been taking some serious fire from those Dark Shards, so he's going to be going ahead and trying to pull back out of range. You can see a lot of Daka coming in there, catching anything and pretty much mowing down everything it catches. But yeah, Sisters of Slaughter getting shot in the back there. Very well played by those Skeleton Horseman Archers. They're generating a ton of value right now. You can see Realm of Souls going off, and it does look like the highest tier. So we're going to be looking at a Nushabti summon in the Great Line, which is of course going to interrupt these Dark Shards here and do quite a bit of damage to them. We'll see potentially some Dark Shards responding. Looks like the Supreme Sorceress herself going to go ahead and dive down here. Cetra comes in to try and break up the Cold One Knights so they don't just immediately shut down those Shabti, but unfortunately the Shabti were able to get a little bit of damage done, but quickly getting swamped by the Cold One Knights there. Now that being said, in the front line you can see the Sisters of Slaughter are starting to get worn down over time. The Kepler Guard, not facing direct fire damage, have been able to hold out quite well here. Support of some other Tomb Guard, not the most cost effective, but here Cetra takes some nasty damage. He's going to get the shower of Dark Shard bolts as he tries to get away from this pocket here. You can see Shell and Apache throwing in the Skeleton Horseman Archers just to screen out Cetra so we can get away from these Cold One Knights, get out of range of those Dark Shards there who had been just mowing him down. Next they're going to try and mow down those Halberds, and you can see the damage output from this many Dark Shards is pretty severe. Even Cetra trying to tie up a couple over on this side, but sort of able to do so. Still, he can only tie down so many at a time. That being said, terrifying away these Cold One Knights is definitely going to be quite helpful, and this Supreme Sorceress is going to have to be careful. If Cetra decides to turn around and get an attack or two on her, it's going to hurt. That being said, it will open him up to some fire from the Dark Shards, so Shell and Apache's been doing a great job of just spamming that Incantation of Protection on Cetra. I haven't caught it directly, might have moused over it a few times, but you can see the Skeleton Horseman Archers coming through here. Now that a lot of the infantry for the Dark Elves are gone in the front line, not able to effectively protect here, these Skeleton Horseman Archers going to be used for their tactical mobility to help ride down the terrified Dark Shards, which is a very good use there. More Incantation of Protection, giving some physical resistance and a bit of healing to Cetra as he tries to finish off some of these Dark Shards and so on the side. You can see the balance of power, though, very much against the Tomb Kings here, and it looks at this moment to be a victory for the Dark Elves. We'll see. Hellebrunai and Sisters of Slaughter are going to be crumbling away the last of the Tomb Guard over here. There are actually a few more Tomb Guard over on the low ground there, but you can see a lot of the Dark Elves ranged units getting chased down, and some super cost-effective use of some Skeleton Horseman Archers there. And just all across the board, they're going to be chasing down the terrified Dark Shards, which is very, very key. Cetra is very low here, and not too much more fire from the Dark Shards would finish him off. But here, a very critical mistake by the Dark Elf player, who's been being very aggressive with his Supreme Sorceress, can actually come down to the ground. She's going to get tied up by Tomb Guard, by Skeleton Horseman Archers, and just more. She's not going to be able to get away from this situation and starts to take a lot of damage here. The more damage she takes, the more that's going to tip the balance of power back towards even. You can see with the damage that she's taking, the balance of power is just tipping more and more, and all of a sudden it very violently tips back to even as she breaks there, and suddenly things are not looking unwinnable for the Tomb Kings. You know, they can potentially push away a lot of these routing units here on the side, and realistically there's really just the Hellebrunai and some very tattered pockets of Sisters of Slaughter that can relatively easily be dealt with by the remaining ammo of these Skeleton Horseman Archers. I mean, granted, they look like they're on fire at will now. Right now. But anyway, narrowly missing that fireball there. Shetland has been doing a great job trying to dodge those shots. And yeah, at this point, Cetra is going to be going after this pocket where these Tomb Guard are holding up these last few Dark Elf infantry, and at this point the Supreme Sorceress trying to protect these Dark Shards, but unfortunately she can't tie down a whole unit of Skeleton Horseman Archers. She might actually take a bit of damage there anyway, but we'll go ahead and soak up some cinematics of Cetra trying to break the last pocket of resistance here. The Hellebrunai, despite their poison and everything, you know, are going to be holding out quite well. I say despite their poison, that's largely why they're holding out so well here. Their poison, of course, looks like one more fireball. Does actually make contact with Cetra, but he's still able to terrify away those Sisters of Slaughter, and not being immune to psychology, of course. And you'd think at least they would have Frenzy, but I guess not. Anyway, at this point, the Supreme Sorcerer is going to go ahead and dive down one last time, and this is pretty much a suicide mission at this point. Yeah. Cetra's going to lead her on a wild goose chase into the Skeleton Horseman. Go ahead and turn around, and honestly, like 1 or 2 attacks should finish this off here. So Cetra's going to go ahead and turn around, and I think this is it. Come on, Cetra. He's thinking real hard about it. I guess maybe the Tomb Guard will do it. Nope. Looks like Cetra finally gets a dive there and stylishly finishes things off. So very fun battle. Thanks to Shetland Apache for submitting that one. Very nice comeback as well. Those Skeleton Horseman Archers, definitely MVPs. in that late game situation, used up a lot of their ammo. You can see 2 of them, 93 and 100, plus XP chevrons. They took a lot of pot shots at Sisters of Slaughter. It's all around extremely cost effective, and I actually really like that pick. Like I said, Dark Elves tend not to bring a ton of cav in this matchup, so if you can really neutralize the Cold One Knights, then the Skeleton Horseman Archers are more or less free to just run around and shoot. They do have very good range. They outrange a lot of the Dark Elf, pretty much all the Dark Elf skirmish units, I believe. And, of course, the Dark Elves also tend to bring a lot of low armor, high value targets, which are going to be great for the Skeleton Horseman Archers to shoot at, so I really like that pick in this particular matchup. The Chariots were thrown in a little bit early. I think Shetland, obviously in hindsight, should have waited a little bit longer, see if he can bait the Cold One Knights out. Maybe that's what he was trying to do. Unfortunately, his halberds just weren't in a position to really capitalize there, but if he was able to potentially use the Skeleton Chariots to lure the Cold One Knights into the Tomb Guard with halberds, and then pull them back, keep them in reserve until you finish off the Cold One Knights, then charge in. I mean, obviously easier said than done, but yeah, that was a little bit rough in the beginning there, but he managed to pull it back with the Skeleton Horseman Archers, and of course Cetra pulling a ton of weight himself, 78 kills, not bad at all. For the Dark Elves, that front line of Sisters of Slaughter did quite well, 112, 126, only 3 on these guys. They're the ones who took a shower in Tomb King arrows early on, but 164 on the other one. The Dark Shards were able to get some damage done, but not able to finish off Cetra. I mean, obviously this build probably expecting a lot more constructs, but at the end of the day, able to hold out with almost no constructs whatsoever, except for, I guess, Cetra's mount, but still. 58 kills from Burning Heads on the Supreme Sorceress, not too bad, but yeah, fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.